You won't believe what happened next. Crystal Gayle, the crossover icon who learned how to sing through heartbreak, keep family at the center, and find peace when the noise faded. She didn't start as a superstar. She started as Brenda Gale Webb, a kid with a clear tone and big dreams. Music ran through her family like a river, and her older sister, country legend Loretta Lynn, was both inspiration and compass. Early on, Crystal followed a traditional country path. She signed young, worked hard, and like a lot of new artists, watched those first singles come and go without much fuss. It would have been easy to pack it in. Instead, she adjusted course. With some wise sisterly advice, she looked for her own lane. A new deal, a new Nashville producer, and a fresh sound pulled her out of the copy of her sister box and into something smoother, more modern, more her. Country with a pop shimmer, the kind of melodies you hum in the grocery store without even realizing it. Then came the break, wrong road again. Not a smash of the century, but the first door that truly swung open. And then, boom, 1977. Don't It Make My Brown Eyes Blue? That single didn't just chart, it traveled. It landed at the top of the country list and floated into the pop world, turning Crystal from regional favorite into an international name. The voice was gentle but sure, the delivery was effortless. Suddenly, arenas filled up, and radio stations that rarely touched country were happily playing her records. She wasn't just a country artist anymore. She was a bridge, proof that great songs didn't need permission slips to cross genres. The late 70s into the 80s were a run most artists only dream about. Ready for the times to get better, talking in your sleep, half the way. Her catalog became a tour of sing-along choruses. Then came a duet that stuck like sweet summer air. You and I with Eddie Rabbitt. If you weren't around then, ask anyone who was. Those songs were everywhere. In car stereos, at school dances, on kitchen radios while dinner simmered. This was the era that made Crystal a household name. And yes, that hair. It wasn't just long, it was legendary. A symbol that became part of her brand, but never overshadowed the voice. Awards followed. The big shows invited her. The industry recognized her, and the halls of fame etched her name into their list. She joined the Grand Ole Opry family, one of the highest honors in country music, and continued to be celebrated as a pioneer who brought country and pop closer together, paving the way for artists who would blend styles after her. But here's something people loved just as much as the music, the steadiness. When so many careers zigzagged through drama, Crystal stayed smooth. She was professional in the studio, calm on set, warm with fans, no scandals, no headline chasing. She worked, she toured, she went home. In the 90s, she took creative. Turns that surprised some folks, an inspirational album, a collection of timeless standards, proof she wasn't stuck in the era that made her famous. She tried new textures, kept the parts of her voice that felt true, and moved at a pace that made sense for her life. Off stage, life had a different rhythm. Crystal married Bill Gatzimos long before her biggest hits, and their relationship became the anchor beneath all the touring and travel. Eventually, Bill helped manage her career, and together they built a life that felt normal even when the schedule didn't. 2 children arrived, a daughter and a son, and family became the quiet priority. No reality show living, no oversharing, just a small circle, a home filled with music and routine, and a mom who wanted to be present even when the road kept calling. Between shows, she'd cook simple meals, keep a health first routine, and recharge around creative people, musicians, writers, artists, who felt like home. There was also that little store she opened, gifts and jewelry, another way to meet people without a microphone. She supported community causes, showed up for benefits, and gave her time to programs that mattered, especially for kids and music education. It wasn't loud philanthropy. It was consistent, quiet generosity. And then came the moment that changed the temperature of everything. October 4th, 2022. Loretta Lynn passed away. For most of us, that was the loss of a legend. For Crystal, it was the loss of a sister, a mentor, the first voice that told her she could do this. Their bond had stretched across decades and styles and a 19-year age gap. Fame never complicated the deepest parts of that relationship. When Loretta died, something in Crystal softened and stilled. She didn't collapse in public. She didn't turn her grief into spectacle. Instead, the shows became gentler. The talking parts between songs grew a little longer, and sometimes Loretta's name would slip out with a pause that said, everything words couldn't. Interviews shifted too. More memories, more family stories, more talk about parents and childhood. You could feel her reaching for the roots that had always made her strong: home, faith, and the kind of gratitude that sits low and steady in your chest. Career-wise, there was no dramatic retirement speech. She simply slowed down. Fewer interviews, fewer commitments. She chose the gigs that felt right and let the rest go. When she did step on stage, the connection felt different, like a conversation with a friend you've known for years. The voice was still there, familiar and comforting, but the weight behind it had changed. It wasn't about charts anymore. It was about meaning. In the day-to-day, Crystal leaned even harder on the things that always held: time with Bill, long drives with no agenda, dinners at home, phone calls to check on friends, and being present for her kids and grandkids. She found a new rhythm, one where legacy wasn't something on a plaque. It was the lullabies she passed down, the family stories she retold at birthdays, the gentle guidance she offered without a camera around. Fans noticed that her style reflected this shift too. Still elegant, still unmistakably Crystal, but simpler. Less about the spotlight, more about what felt like her. The long hair stayed. It's part of her, yes, but the energy around it changed. The look no longer said iconic image, where it said, this is me, unhurried. So, what do we make of Crystal Gayle's path right now? It's the story of a woman who came up in the hardest touring years, soared through the crossover era, chose substance over spectacle, and weathered a loss that could have shut the music down. Instead, she let that loss deepen the music, not louder, deeper. The light might not be as blinding as it was in the late 70s, but it's warmer now, steadier. It's the glow of someone who knows what matters and holds it close. Maybe that's why her songs still land. They're tender without being fragile. They remind you that strength doesn't have to shout, and her life reminds you that success isn't just applause and plaques. It's the dinner table, the grandkids, the phone calls you make, the kindness you choose. It's carrying your memories with grace, even when they ache. If you've loved her since the vinyl days, or you just discovered her on a playlist last week, you're part of the same story. People who found comfort and color in a voice that never tried to be anything except true. And if you're going through your own season of loss, let her journey be a nudge. The music doesn't have to stop. It can change. It can slow down. It can get quieter and mean more than ever. Now, I want to hear from you. What's the first Crystal Gayle song that comes to mind? Is it that blue-eyed classic, a deep cut that helped you through a tough patch, or a duet that takes you straight back to a moment you'll never forget? Drop your story below. Let's build a little corner of the internet where music lovers lift each other up. Thanks for spending time with me today. If this story moved you, even a little, tap that like button, share it with a friend who needs some gentle nostalgia, and hit subscribe so you don't miss the next deep dive. Until then, take care of yourselves, check on your people, and keep a good song nearby.